Sukui Nage is an old school Japanese Jiu-Jitsu Judo technique that I learned in Combative Jiu-Jitsu as a white belt. And I'll be honest, when I first learned this technique, I was like, this is freaking bullshit. This is not gonna work. And then as, of course, my journey has taught me that all things work in time. You just need some time to work them. So our focus today is Sukui Nage. It's an interesting takedown. We're gonna look at it from a pure old school Japanese Jiu-Jitsu perspective off of rear grab. Then we're gonna start playing with some modern applications that apply for MMA, as well as street combat with Ruben Gallego. I hope I said his name right, but Ruben, we all know who he is. So we're gonna have some good fun with that Sukui Nage today. All right, let's break down the technique of Sukui Nage, and we're gonna start off of a rear grab. This is how we learned it as a white belt in Combative Jiu-Jitsu, so let's start that way. So Leon has a rear grab and arms trapped, all right? The first thing we're gonna do is get connection to those arms and actually hold those arms nice and tight. Then I'm gonna escape my hips so that my left knee or rear knee can come behind him. And the goal is thinking about kneeing him in the back of the knees and shelving him. So I'm just gonna stop and hold right here. You can see how Leon is basically sitting on my thighs. Option number one is I'm just gonna grab his legs, scoop him out, and that's technically a perfect Sukui Nage. We're here, grab, hips out, bump through, and then I'm gonna scoop, like basically he's sitting on my thigh, so all the weight's distributed on my thigh. And this is a very important concept as we build the Sukui Nage today. And then I'm just gonna think about throwing like a sack of potatoes that way and bah, 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 and finish them off. Now, there's the mean version where I throw him over my shoulder, and we'll probably put that in right now because I'm not gonna do it to him. But a funny story about this, when I was learning this technique, I had a guy I was training with, John, did it, threw me over his shoulder, then landed on top of me. And to this day, it's probably one of the worst throws I've ever received. So I'm not gonna torture you today with that, okay? But let's bring on Cole and have Leon work a little bit Cole so there's a little bit of a better size connection. Cole starts my rear grab, okay? Leon comes next to the arms, comes behind, and then starts shelving Cole on his thighs and picks and throws him down. What's really important, guys, is you have to really drive through with that knee to get the connection, make him basically shelf. Well, now the more violent version is that he just throws him over his hip and lands nice and boom, and over. So, very, very interesting technique, and I know a lot of you out there probably feel the same way I did when I first learned. It's like, what the fuck is that? That's just bullshit. That's never gonna work. And I agree with you. It has some weird implications in the beginning, but there's a lot of cool principles within this technique that have a lot of application for MMA, self-defense, sport, or just jiu-jitsu. And I go back into the beginning, is this knee coming behind? If I can get that bump and then use some other upper body connection, that's where Sukui Nage really shows. So I even could do it on a grappling perspective. So we're grappling and I just slide through and I get this shelving on my hip, and now it's, you know, back to throwing the takedown. So I don't need to have this rear grab. It's like a mismatch of the body where one leg ends up behind and the arm ends up front. Later we get like Sokomen Arimi Nage, where you're actually using the rear of your arm. But now let's bring in I was bringing Ruben, and look how we can apply this from a little bit of a street combative perspective.
Hey, hello there, Ruben here with Leon. We're gonna try to find some street applications for the Sukui Nage technique. For sure, this is a technique that we're not gonna have plan. In truth, when you are talking about self-defense, there is no plan. You know, it's a world of chaos. But if you learn some different techniques, maybe cool works. You know what I mean? It's like you can apply it. It's like you have something in your pocket that you can use in a specific moment, depending the situation. I always say that the answer is the situation. So we're gonna start direct in front of my opponent. Maybe he's defending like with a boxing guard. So I'm gonna start presetting, like I'm gonna fix him. I'm gonna get the clothing because my intention now is gonna be entering here. But look how I move my entire body to enter, and then I drop my body, all my body weight down, trying to get my knee behind him. So this is how I can put him down. It's something similar. It's not the same. Why? Because if I am thinking about the street and I am thinking about coming here and I have to get my both hands here, I am super exposed, you know what I mean? So I don't want to be exposed. I'm going to try to find a way of doing the same things, but trying to be protected because we could find multiple opponents around. So if I am here, I'm going to start with a simple grab, one, then I'm going to enter through the window trying to smash with my elbow, and then I'm going to drop my entire body down, creating this kind of takedown. We can do it absolutely from different positions. Imagine that, for example, I'm going to enter in the fight from the side. I'm going to enter in the fight from behind. It's like, why? He's fighting my brother. He's fighting my friend. So I'm going to start. And instead of coming here and do the typical like trapping from behind, I'm gonna smash with my elbow the head, so this is gonna create like crash, and then when he thinks that is enough, I'm gonna drop my entire body down, and then I can stand put myself in the middle to protect my partner, to protect my friend. So this is another possibility. Or maybe we are like in this kind of fights that there are people involved around, and for any reason I fall down, and it's like, oh wow, I have to continue fighting here. This guy is punching me. It's like, oh, boom, I'm gonna try to take him down and then start fighting him and get standing again. So multiple possibilities. Obviously, this kind of technique is not something that I'm gonna have planned, but as I say, in the street there is no plan. The chaos is the only thing that matters.
We all understand that this is like a one-off technique. This is not like a double leg or a single leg that you're gonna use all the time, but there are ways to make it a little bit more, let's say, grappling effective, sport effective. And I remember teaching one of my female students years ago, and she was having a really hard time with this because she was smaller, she was trying to pick someone up, and so we decided to do is kind of implement a trip. So same thing, I'll just go from a grappling perspective. Let's say I'm in a collar tie, and I come behind and I want to hit that Sukui Nage. All I do is snake this leg through the hole, lean on his leg, and it has a nice simple trip takedown. So it has a similar feel of getting my thigh like to cut off like his stance, that, you know, and I'm splitting, boom. It has that same feel. You can see how his weight gets settled back. Now all we do, instead of trying to force this or throw him behind me, my right leg snakes in, and I pinch my knees together to be sure that I keep him trapped. One more time. So same thing, just from a collar tie perspective. Yeah, I hit a snap down, he pops up, I enter in, a nice little quick Sukui Nage. Or it's probably not called Sukui Nage, it's like a Sukui Nage with a Kosoto Gaki mix in there, something like that. But another way to simply add this concept. It's not it's not a hardcore technique you're gonna use all the time. It's a great concept that you're using that thigh, that off balancing effect with getting your arm across his hips to really settle him back.